All right, boys and girls, welcome to State of the Atmosphere tonight. It's been a crazy week, guys. We started with the premiere of Andor. It had 3 episodes. What did you think of it? Let me know in the chat tonight. And then a couple of days ago, a friend of mine texted me with the teaser trailer for Last of Us, the HBO Max original series that's going to be premiering on HBO Max in 2023. What did you think of the trailer? We'll talk about that. And last but not least, dropped on my doorstep today, Isom #1. Did you get yours? If not, it's coming soon. Make sure you're ready because the State of the Atmosphere starts now. All right, welcome aboard, Matt. Small Time Republic is here to start with me tonight, and we're going to cover some things. How are you doing this week, Matt?
I'm doing great. Middle of the week, hump day, as they say.
Yes, sir.
How you been doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. The day had a rough start, but it ended up pretty good. I was supposed to go to work around noon today, and I was leaving around 11. Let's see who's in here. Oh, there's my. That's the Royal Fox right there. She says, "Hail, chat." That's my better half right there, Rhonda.
Oh, I got you.
And you may hear some machinery going next to me. This is a shared studio. We do everything together, and she's got she's always working on merch for her shop and stuff for me. She made this thing right next to me here. It's the Privateer. I think it's a
Awesome.
cutting board. She has a funny name for it, but anyway, she's always messing with stuff. But anyway, God, I got in the car. I'm actually going to get my benefits from the plant closure, and I had to deliver some paperwork before I went to work. And sure enough, car wouldn't start. Turned out to be the battery. She and I both had to take the afternoon off for both of our jobs. And she says it's called a trivet. Yes. See, it's always got a fancy name. These cooking things they use. But anyway, that's a cutting board's what it is, a glass cutting board. But anyway, we ended up having to take both of us having to take the afternoon off. And at the same time, my car's been in the shop because my neighbors decided to use it as a demolition derby target and blasted one of my windows out and everything. And it's been in the shop for a month. And we got the notification. So this afternoon was car day. I had to buy a new battery for her car, and we went and picked mine up. So we got a lot done, but it cost us some off time. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's going good, man. It's going good. I had a good time this week earlier. Hey, what's up? That's my buddy Dallas. He lives across the river from me in Shreveport. And that's my best friend in the entire world, man. It's a great dude. If the apocalypse ever happens, Matt, that's my fallback position. He's the guy that's got the guns and ammo. So I'm going to his house. That's right. And he's outside the city limits, Yeah, put it this way. He hunts on his own land. So yeah, he does well. Oh my God. Everybody's showing up tonight. My daughter's here. What's up, Bobby? How you doing? Good to see you. This is my buddy, Matt. He's got a channel called Small Time Republic. If you guys, can go give him a sub. I found him on what was that? Whatever cast, the one Wes does.
Yeah.
Love that one, man. Love that one. If you guys don't watch Wes, you need to start, man. He's fantastic. And from what I understand, this is like his second or third channel because he keeps getting knocked off the internet or something.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
powers that be, they
They don't like what some of us say, do they?
they don't like when people drop too much truth on them.
You drop too much truth, you get nuked. I heard Ricada got nuked off of Twitter.
I saw where his Twitter account got suspended. There's a guy that I follow on Twitter that's in a lot of the chats that
Hmm.
has his own channel. A guy by the name of Trey Courtney. I'm not
Okay,
sure if you're familiar with him, but his account I think got suspended too. So it
really?
it tends to happen uh, pretty often. It seems like.
Well, I think the fact that we're coming up against the midterms, they're worried about truth sayers quite a bit. So I think we're going to see more of that.
Yep.
But anyway,
But by the way,
yeah,
when
I'm,
you
I'm
said
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
when you said Trevette, before we get too far away from that, we said Trevette. It also made me think of the fact that one time uh, I thought you just referred to a plate that you put under a plate as a plate. Apparently, that's called a charger. So you learn
Really,
things. Yeah, like
a charger?
the big
Okay.
decorative plate that you put under a plate.
Huh.
That's a charger. Again, all,
Just, I mean, that's
names for everything.
things and names for everything, man. But I guess if you work like as a chef or in the industry, it's a way to convey a message that's exactly what that's supposed to be, right? I mean, the rest of us are like, what? It's two plates. What the hell?
I got
Um,
confirmation from Mrs. Rivers.
oh yeah, I see it there. Yeah, she says, you are correct, small time. Yeah, and my buddy Dallas says, "F them all." I know my man. I could. I love my boy to death, but I could never bring. If I was going to bring him on a stream, it would be on Odyssey. I couldn't bring him on. This
Yeah,
guy right here, he's salted the earth, but man, he tells it like it is. He wouldn't last 5 minutes on YouTube, brother. Not at all. What did my daughter say here? I've been suspended off Twitter and Facebook. Hashtag rebels. Yeah, yeah, that's my daughter. She's always changing social media, no doubt. She was in the army, by the way. She got in the family
awesome.
business when she got out of high school. Yeah,
You and your
that
brother were both in the service, right?
right. Danny was 9 years Air Force. He did a lot longer than I did. He was going to make a career out of it, but his first wife talked him into getting out and going up there where she was at. She was getting out, and they both met in the Air Force. And my gosh, man, they were she'd served him with divorce papers a month after he got out. I mean, I felt bad for him. I really did. He was going to make a
Rough.
career out of it, but that's a
Well,
long story. I'll let him tell one day if he wants
right.
to.
But
But
I appreciate. Thank you for your service, you and your brother
absolutely,
and your
brother.
daughter. Yep.
Absolutely, absolutely. Were you ever in the service, small time?
I was not, but
No.
I
Have you
certainly
got Have you got any family members?
not any really close family members. I did have an uncle that was in the military for a short period of time. Um, Probably the most impactful thing related to somebody I'm related to in terms of any kind of military service was I had a great uncle who was in World War II,
Okay.
and he passed away. Gosh, it was probably maybe 4 years ago, maybe less than 4 years ago.
Wow, he lasted a long time. Yeah.
And going to his funeral, that was um, it was a special occasion because he was sort of the last of that generation and their spouses.
Right.
So he had six siblings and all,
There's
and
not
all,
many of them left, man. There,
yeah,
there, there aren't. I mean, yeah, we're that entire generation is about gone, man. I know my Papa Joe. He passed away. I say Papa Joe. I'm the third. Everybody with that name is served in the military, so it's family business. All in the army too. He was with Patton at the Battle of the Bulge. The guy I'm named after. So yeah. Um, but
awesome.
I have a thing behind the bar we have here in our living room, and it's got a wall sticker that says "America, Land of the Free, because of the brave." And I've got a picture of everybody in my family that's been in the military, and it's a lot of people. I mean, there's 10 kids on my mother's side, and all the sons, all three of them served in Vietnam. My aunt Kay was in the Air Force. My aunt Mary was National Guard her entire life. I mean, yeah, rich military tradition in this family, dude. But yeah, I appreciate that. Let's see what they're talking about here. Yeah, Rhonda says her son served in Iraq, no doubt. David, he's an Iraq War veteran. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, he's got severe PSD.
Mm,
He has to medicate for it. Man, I tell you what, uh, when he first got back, he was living with us, and they were filming. It was shortly after Katrina. A lot of the movie production for films came up here, and they were filming Battlefield Los Angeles, I think is the name of it. Had that guy that played Two Face in the Dark Knight movie
okay, yeah,
in it.
Aaron Eckhart, I think it
Yeah,
is.
that's his
Yeah.
name. He was the star of it, and it was it was a science fiction movie. It was about aliens attacking Los Angeles or something like that, but it had a really combat oriented thing to it. Soldiers and stuff, and they were blowing up half of downtown with fireworks, and he was driving home from work, and he almost wrecked. He thought he was having a flashback. It freaked him the hell out. He saw those
Gosh,
explosions downtown. Yeah, he great guy though, fantastic guy. But me and his father, who his late father, who passed away a couple of years ago, um, man, we both tried to talk him out of it, but he's one of those guys that saw 9/11 happen as a teenager, and he was going. Didn't matter what we said. You know what I mean?
yep.
So
Yeah, I was
let's
I think
see.
I was 19 when that happened, so I was in college and everything, but I didn't go through with it. But the thought crossed my mind that day.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure it
Yeah.
did. I mean, it crossed a lot of people's minds. I mean, look at what Pearl Harbor did to us. It put us. We were trying to stay out of the conflict. Period. But as soon as that happened, we were full bore both sides of the conflict there. Let's see. Bobby says she got to run. Love you, girl. See you later. Let's see. Bye, Bobby. Yep. And what else we got? Everybody's saying bye to my daughter. They all know her. Let's see. There's called a wall tattoo. Oh, she's talking about the thing that says "Land of the Free" because of the brave on my wall. Yeah, she's making fun of me. Of course she is. But anyway, let's get to the subjects at hand tonight, boys and girls. There's a bunch of stuff to talk about. I tend to lean towards the more positive stuff when I'm by myself. I'll talk about anything the chat wants to talk about, though. My buddy Chris will get us off on some crazy tangent here in a little bit. But the first thing I wanted to talk about was Andor. Did you watch any of it, and what did you think?
So I've seen the first three episodes. I believe the fourth one came out, what, the wee hours of the morning today.
Mm-hmm.
Have not had a chance to see it yet, but
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's good that I've seen the first three because it that was sort of like one really long episode, I guess you'd say, in terms of what it was trying to
Yeah,
build
I
to.
still haven't seen the second two, and you don't have to worry about spoilers. Look, guys, if you're worried about spoilers, don't watch my show because I mean, really, I don't care about that. Now there are guys I know that do, so we may talk about spoilers in the show. So if you haven't seen it, you might want to tune out for a little bit, and I'll throw up the graphic for the next subject whenever we're done. But I have not seen anything but the first episode. Now, I like the way it started. This character came from what I consider to be the best of the Disney Star Wars movies.
I agree.
Rogue One. I think that's the best one they've made so far, and I was kind of looking forward to the spy type of thing, and the fact that he accidentally killed that one guy and had to make a split decision and get rid of the other dude so there wasn't any witnesses. I said, okay, I like the direction of this, but by the end of the episode, it started to get muddled, like all these series do. They just go on about nothing for the rest of the show, and it's like, whoa, do
Yeah,
something.
yeah. It
Yeah.
it was. I guess the only thing with Rogue One that I wasn't really a fan of was the whole
Hmm.
CGI Tarkin and the CGI Leia. To
Yeah.
me, if they want to show the back of their head or really Tarkin, they the if you'll remember at the end of Revenge of the Sith, it's only like maybe 5 seconds, but they show a young Tarkin.
Hmm.
Like his head, had that same shape as
Right.
Peter Cushing, in terms of that kind of unique, that kind of sharp, features and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I don't know who that guy is, but take that guy and put him in Rogue One.
I was
You know,
gonna say, man, recast. It's
yeah,
not hard. They're actors. I mean, One of the things they've been talking about a lot, and hail, Ella Globulis, it's good to see you, man. Um, let's see. What I was going to say was friggin' for instance, the Black Panther movie that's fixing to come out.
Yep.
I'm not even in a hurry to go see that. I mean, the trailer kind of pulled at your heartstrings a lot and everything, but they're assuming that the character is the actor. Well, last time I checked, two people have played the Joker since Heath Ledger died. Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, recast the role. It's not that hard. I mean, Chadwick Boseman's great. I hate the fact he's gone. He was a fantastic person by all accounts. From everything I've heard, nobody's ever said a bad word about him. That's great. But if you want to
Yeah.
honor him, give the job to another guy, another African American that's trying to make it in Hollywood. Give the role to him and let him take a crack at it. He wouldn't
Well,
want that source tapped off for any reason.
yeah, and you could have it be a different character that takes on the mantle of Black Panther. It doesn't have to be, T'Challa.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that was his character. You could have a totally separate character take on the mantle, since they've already established that it's, that Black Panther is not one person. That it's, it carries on from person to person.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, they
so
already established that at the beginning. It was it was handed down by his father to him, right? Yeah.
right, so you
Hmm.
hand it off to the next guy.
Yeah.
Um, and I should say guy, because based on the trailer I saw, it seemed to indicate that the next Black Panther would be a woman.
The rumor is it's going to be the sister, the
Yeah, I
one
would
that
think
built all of his toys. Yeah.
either the sister or, his lead guard that he had, one or the
Yeah.
other. I would think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but if that, and I don't know the background of that character too much, but if that traditionally has been a male that has assumed that mantle, then it needs to be a male.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I hear you. Yeah. Well, I just think they need to recast the role. I mean, the character didn't die; the actor died. So
right.
get another person to play him. But for some reason, they seem to think that that's just heinous that you want to recast that role. And I'm like, no. I mean, it's a character in a movie.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. You know what do we got here? Christopher says Avatar is #1 at the box office again. Well, that's not hard to do when there's nothing new
Right.
coming out, bro. Really,
Yep.
it's not. Uh, I wouldn't be surprised if Top Gun's still in the top 5. I think it dropped out. We cover the box office things. I think it dropped out
Yep.
last week for the first time out of the top 5. Um, and the Avatar movies, I mean, they're playing them right now because I think he's making like 3 more, I think.
He's making
And,
at least two more, if not, yeah, if not.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the name of the one that's coming up, but um, I'm just not hyped about it. I'm not a big Avatar fan myself. I thought it was cool, but it just seemed like Cowboys and Indians to me, and the Indians won. That's what it seemed like to me. But Fern
Right.
Gully on steroids, kind of.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought of it. But I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a cool movie, but I just don't think it has the staying power of a Star Wars or a Godfather or something like that. You know what I mean?
I don't
So
think the story was as good as a lot of James Cameron movies
yeah,
have been in
it
the past.
right.
Um, I just don't think.
You guys may think I'm crazy, but I would put The Abyss above that movie. I mean,
Yeah,
really.
I was thinking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, getting back to Andor, yeah, why not just recast those? Find some young people that look like them. I mean, they've done a good job with some of these people finding people. I mean, that guy they found to play Spock in the Star Trek movies. I mean, he is the spitting image of Leonard Nimoy when he was young. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Uh, and you can find guys like Carl Urban that played Bones in that movie who just personify the character. He doesn't look like him, but man, I mean, he pretty much channels the guy with his mannerisms and everything.
Hmm.
So, um, right down to the raised eyebrows and stuff. I mean, he was just dynamite. He really was. But I don't know. Andor, I'm going to go ahead and finish the first three because I hear the third episode, it kind of picks up. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
it does. It tends to bring what the things that took place in the first and second episode, that mini arc sort of comes to a head
Uh
in
huh.
episode in terms of building on the things that came before.
Yeah.
Um, I've heard different people talk about the the episodes that have come out thus far, um, in terms of how, and I think it was maybe Ryan Kennel that said this on his stream Sunday, that
Mm-hmm.
perhaps the most interesting character is the lead investigator, in terms of the younger guy with dark hair.
Yes,
Uh,
yes. He seems to be a true believer. He's committed.
yep,
Didn't matter what his superiors said. He's going to find out who killed these guys. Yeah, that's what I was catching. Yeah.
yeah, and I tend to agree with that. To me, he is more interesting than Andor,
Mm-hmm.
um, or some of the other side characters. Just in the sense that there seems to be more of a range with him, um, whereas Andor, I don't know if it's going to change more throughout the story, but the actor does not seem to be able to emote very well.
Okay.
He seems a little stiff, in my opinion.
Okay.
And again, that may be part of the character, that he's
Mm-hmm.
sort of the strong silent type, or that
Yeah.
may be what they're going for, or that he's trying to keep a low profile, so so he's not being very animated.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, he just seems like not the most intriguing character to sit there and watch, and that may be why, at least in these first three episodes, they're doing a lot of flashbacks. They're doing a lot of focusing on other characters.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's like human Ewoks hanging out in the wilderness, right? Him as a kid and his sister. Is that what I'm seeing? Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, but and I was wondering if that continues in the show. Uh, my buddy Chris says Black Panther from another universe. Well, that would be interesting, but don't expect anything interesting out of Marvel, man. I'm really getting to the point with Marvel that and to make sure I'm clear about this, guys. I am a Marvel fan first before I'm a DC fan. Even though DC has the more iconic characters in it, I'm a Spider-Man guy through and through. So I've always been a X-Men, Spider-Man, Marvelite. Fantastic Four. That's the only when I've watched them roll out their stuff at the San Diego Comic-Con when Feige got up on stage and you know told us everything that was coming out. The whole fifth phase that's coming up just looks meh to me. It really does. And some of it looks like it doesn't belong. Now, they did drop a trailer the other day. It's not a trailer, it's a teaser. Ryan Reynolds was teasing about the Deadpool 3 movie, right? And I can't imagine they're not going to let him make an R rated movie. I can't imagine that.
if it's Deadpool, it's got to be R-rated.
It's got to be R rated, right? Well, there's a couple of other properties on there that should be R rated. When you look at the fifth phase they're having, I should have pulled that graphic up, but the fifth phase includes a Blade movie. And I'm
Yeah,
sitting there thinking Disney's going to make a blood, guts, and gore Blade movie? Really? Because you can't have a Blade movie without violence, man. That's just not going to happen. Uh, and then the other one is Daredevil. I'm scared to death of that. I Rhonda and I will be catching up later on tonight on our shows. We haven't seen the finale of She-Hulk yet, and which uh, I'm hoping in the last episode that they make her having fun as She-Hulk, because if they don't, then that's a whole wasted first season of that show, and I probably won't watch it ever again. I'm a huge She-Hulk fan of the John Byrne run, sensational She-Hulk in the comic books. And if you do you know anything about this, Matt?
I'm more familiar with like the movies and the cartoons and things like that than the
Okay.
comics. But yeah,
All right. Well, in the comic books, of course, at first she was the savage She-Hulk, and she's kind of like Bruce. She was
right.
but the John Byrne run, it is one. one, it a lot of the Deadpool fans like to say, "Oh yeah, he broke the fourth wall first." No, guys, She-Hulk did it in the '80s, and it was one of the funniest things ever. If they'd have done it just like Sensational She-Hulk, and it would have worked in this environment today, it would have fit the powerful women thing, you know.
Right.
But the whole thing they've done wrong in this series is they made her hate being She-Hulk. And in the book, she's a frumpy, skinny, nobody wants her girl that's a really good lawyer, and she gets a blood transfusion from Bruce to save her life, and she becomes She-Hulk, and all of a sudden she's having a ball. She's loving life, and she never turns back to Jennifer Walters. Man, she wants to be the She-Hulk. That's the big mistake they made with this show. They made her come off like a Karen that wants to talk to the manager. It's just stupid, man. I've hated every episode so far of it, but I'm hoping they'll have some kind of character development to make her where she wants to stay that way. Maybe that'll happen in episode 6. I don't know. Have you watched it yet?
Yeah, I've seen it. My issue with it, well, one, the whole blood transfusion thing, they
Yeah.
could not allow it to have been Bruce making a conscious decision to donate
Save
blood
her
to her
life.
to
Yeah.
save her life,
Hmm.
because that would have been a man
They
helping
flipped
a
it.
woman.
They flipped it. They had her rip open the door and pull him out and everything. Yeah.
Right.
Hey, Christian, it's good to see you. Yeah. And I mean, I haven't watched it yet, but man, if they don't have her make that flip to where she likes being She-Hulk, then I'm gonna be upset. I just am.
Yeah, it's
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. It seems like she's snarky. They're
Hmm.
they're trying to make her come across as, you know, the smartest person in the room,
Yeah.
and being self-aware of the ridiculousness of the different scenarios that come up, but it doesn't hit the right chord. It comes across as her being uh, snarky, or um, you know basically it kills any suspense.
Yeah.
You feel like there's no stakes.
Right.
uh, at least I don't. And I also feel like there's not a good thread, or a good through line that goes from episode to episode. I feel like it's just somewhat haphazard.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm with you. Yeah. Why did Titania all of a sudden blast into that room, or that courtroom? What was she after? We never got an answer on that. It was just she just decided to knock down a wall at that point. What? Why was she there? What was that all about?
yeah,
Uh,
it's like there's a lack of character motivation,
yeah, it's crazy, man.
and also the wire
They
work.
they could have
Uh,
done so much better though. I don't know what these guys are doing. It's like they're failing up in the entertainment industry here lately. I don't know what the hell the deal is. Christian, thank you for that, man. He says you are now my Wednesday evening stream while I work. I appreciate it, man. It's just me talking to you guys and seeing what's up. I've got a main focus on a lot of my shows, but this one I just want to talk to folks. Actually, you mentioned Ryan Kennel earlier. He's the one that inspired me to do this stream. Because he gets on Sunday and I love listening to him. He just talks about whatever pops up. Um, I'm,
yeah,
like I'm
he's
doing. He has a few subjects to start with, but he's usually just talking to the chat. Um, yeah, Andor, I'm gonna go ahead and finish the first three and check out the next one and see how it goes. But I tell you, the previous Star Wars properties, I quit watching Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett, after the first episode. I was like, this ain't Boba Fett, because if you saw him and I mean, now you got to remember, Matt, I saw these movies when they first came out. I had to
right.
wait 3 years between chapters to see these things. The first one came out when I was 12. The second one came out when I was what, 15, and then I was fixing to join the army. I had taken the whole summer off because I was joining the army on the last day of the summer, and that May was when Return of the Jedi came out. So you know.
Yeah.
And what's funny is we didn't have the internet back then. There were so many rumors. The mainstay was a book called Starlog Magazine. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these
Heard of it.
things,
Yep.
but it had all the sci-fi info. And another one I read a lot was what was the horror one that had all the makeup stuff in it? Fangoria. Used to read
Okay.
that one a lot too. But that's where we got our news from, was the magazines and stuff. There wasn't any internet. And there was so many rumors, and one of the rumors was that Boba Fett was actually Luke's dad, right? That Darth was
Right.
was lying to him. I really believe to this day that's why they had him go out so punkish in that first fight where he got swallowed by the Sarlacc, just to kill that rumor right at the beginning of the movie. You know what I mean? Because it was a big rumor at the time. But I just I don't know, man.
Well, the
I
whole,
watched that first episode, and when he didn't kill the messenger from the city, that wanted tribute from him, when he didn't kill him, right, Dan, or what? I think it was a guy, wasn't it?
yeah,
Uh, yeah, when he didn't kill him right away, I was like, nah. This isn't Boba Fett. This is an old man trying to get into heaven. What the hell is this all about?
yeah. The book of redemption for Boba Fett. Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Well,
if you saw the originals, man, this is the one guy that backtalked Darth Vader every time he was around him. He wasn't scared of him. You know what I mean?
no, he was not.
And I just didn't see that in that show. So I didn't watch that one. And I did not watch Obi-Wan because I just, I was like, why? This guy is hiding in the desert, and he's supposed to be keeping an eye on Luke Skywalker. Now, what the hell could be going on to have a 6-episode adventure on a sand dune in the middle of nowhere when nobody's supposed to know where he is? What what is
It
the point?
there was the whole the Obi-Wan character. I mean, that's sacred when it comes to Star Wars,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
you can't mess that up. But
That is the
they,
baddest dude ever to carry a lightsaber. Period.
yeah.
He
Well, I
just
mean,
is.
he's my favorite Jedi. He's probably
Mm-hmm.
or favorite Star Wars character. He's probably, you know, either Kenobi or Luke or Vader.
Mm-hmm.
Those three are probably your most common three. As far as people's favorite characters. And um,
Yep.
man, I've always been the reason why he's always been my favorite character is because sort of like Spider-Man. You mentioned him earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Both always try to do the right thing at the end of the
Yep.
day,
Mm-hmm.
and no matter what.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. It's part of their character. And I tell you, Ewan McGregor, he was probably the best thing in the prequels, man. That I maintain to this day, the Phantom Menace has the best lightsaber fight out of any of the movies. Uh,
yeah, they're at the end.
Darth
Yeah,
Maul holding off 2 Jedi at once with that light staff is because it was choreographed by the guy that plays Darth Maul. I can't remember the
yeah.
actor's name, but
Ray Park. Yeah,
yeah, he's fantastic martial artist, and he trained these guys really well. He had friggin' Ewan McGregor looking like a badass in that last part of that fight, dude. There was
yeah.
nothing he could do to him that was, he finally had to use the force to knock him into that tube, But
Have you ever seen any of the footage of Ray Park at conventions,
no,
doing
I imagine it's awesome.
doing the sword? I mean,
I'm sure.
it's
I'm
awesome.
sure it's awesome. You
Yeah,
know who used to do that a lot too, and you probably laugh. If you ever went to a Van Halen concert back in the day, David Lee Roth is a bad son of a bitch with a sword, dude.
really. Huh.
He did some crazy shit on stage when he was playing with Van Halen, man, with a sword. I'm sitting there going, I don't know how these guys aren't lopping their own friggin' calves off with all this jumping around and swinging these things, man. I don't get it. But no, I mean, Ewan McGregor really, he did some great work as Obi-Wan in that original trilogy. I really, when I watch him these days, that's why, to see Obi-Wan in those shows. But my favorite Jedi was his mentor, Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
That's my favorite Jedi. I love him. I thought he was awesome because he never did what the council told him to do.
Oh
That's
yeah,
what I dug
he
about
was
him.
a rebel.
Yes,
Yeah, and I've actually
absolutely.
I've been able to read a good amount of the expanded universe, and
Yeah.
his his character in the different stories, and that it's consistent with episode one in terms of him.
Hmm.
You know, he's not a stringent rule follower
Right.
when he doesn't feel like it's the right thing to do. So
No. No.
Um,
Now, when you say the expanded universe, are you talking about the stuff that is considered non-canon now that
y-
Disney has it?
yeah, the pre-Disney
Okay.
era stuff.
Well,
So
I'm going to tell you exactly like I tell my buddy Knock, the guy I do the pregame with. He is a huge Star Wars fan. I don't know if you watched a couple weeks ago when I had Pope Metallicus and him on. That's all we talked about was anytime Knock is on, we end up talking
right,
about Star Wars because he loves it, and he's read every bit of the expanded universe. And I will tell you the same way I tell them: keep telling the stories because you know keep that stuff alive. Who
yeah,
cares what Disney says? That all Star Wars fans should keep that stuff alive because I've always wanted to see stories about Mara Jade. I keep hearing about Luke's wife. Keep hearing she's a bad son of a gun. Uh, I keep hearing about this Admiral Thrawn guy, but I think he's going to be in
yeah.
something coming
He's
up.
going to
Isn't he
be
going to be Ahsoka? Isn't
he's
that
going to
what
be
he's going to be in?
Disneyfied. Yep.
Yeah, and but there's several other things. Another guy that's really big into the expanded universe is my stepson David, the Iraq War veteran. He's a huge fan of it, and he's always telling me about stuff that I need to be covering. Um, I've done a couple of videos on it. You can go back and look at them, but um, Andor, I'm going to give it a little bit more of a chance. I am. I liked how the first episode started. I dug that. I was like, okay, he's done something significant here. Now let's find out what's going on with this. With it's his sister he's looking for, right? The sister we
Right.
keep seeing in the flashbacks. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll give that some more time, but it's going to have to pick up the pace. Look, everybody, everybody my age, the guy I buy my comics books from, I'm good friends with the owner, but I'm better friends with the guy that sells the books for him. The guy at the front counter is a dude I went to high school with. I've known since we were knee high to a grasshopper. I did my first comic book work at his house. What were we working on? I was drawing a comic of the Night Stalker.
Okay.
It was an old show back in the 70s, man. Silly ass show. But it was kind of a precursor to the X-Files kind of thing. But this guy was a news reporter, wore a silly ass hat. Carl Kolchak was his name. Check it out, man. It's kind of hokey, but you can see the
Yeah.
tie-in with I mean the original pilot was a 2-hour movie where he found a vampire living in the subways of New York City, and
Right.
it was pretty neat, man. Uh,
70s TV is its
it's a
own
trip.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's a trip. But Carl Kolchak and the Night Stalker, it was pretty good, man. He was a reporter that was always in trouble with his boss, that kind of thing, because he kept covering this stuff that everybody thought was fake. Let's see. Christian says, I remember that. Yeah, it was a great show. Anyway, I drew a couple pages. We were going to try and do a comic book. Elagabas says, the Night Stalker meets a Christmas Story. Yeah, that would be great.
That'd be something. Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, this guy, he's checked out all of it. Mark, the guy I'm talking about that works at the comic book place, he has checked out all of it. He's gone back to reading classic novels. I mean, he doesn't like the state of comic books. He doesn't like the state of movies. None of it. He's gone back to reading classic novels like, the Swiss Family Robinson and stuff like that. Moby Dick. What's up? What are you doing, young
Hello.
lady? Where are you off to?
Oh, I gotta go do that.
Got to do the
Zoom
meeting? Okay.
meeting.
That is the role of Fox boys and girls. I always tell her, do not be afraid to duck in here. We're just having fun. But what's Chris talking about? I'm out of here. Hit me up when you want to Madden later. No problem, sir. I sure will. And Christian says, and the actor playing Kolchak starred on the X Files. I thought it was a great homage. Yeah.
Cool.
I don't remember the episode. I love the X Files. I don't know that I've seen every bit of it though. I got into it after it started. So, but that's great. If he was on there, yeah. Carl Kolchak was my first look into the supernatural kind of thing. It was pretty fun. But anyway, Andor, we'll give it a chance. We'll see what happens. But
It yeah.
I don't hold out a lot of hope, though.
Yeah. In my opinion, it is the best Disney Star Wars show thus
Yeah,
far. So
but
it's
that's
got
a
that
low
going
bar,
for it.
isn't it? It's
Yeah.
it's a pretty low bar. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, parts of Mandalorian season 1 were pretty good.
Mandalorian's good, but they jangle a lot of keys in that show, and I don't know, the whole Baby Yoda thing. Cool, whatever. I some of the episodes I really like. The first one from the second season where homeboy, what was it, Timothy Oliphant was wearing Boba Fett's armor.
Yeah.
And he helped him kill the monster. That was a great episode. I thought that was awesome. I really did. The season opener for the second season. If they'd done more stuff like that, keep it kind of a Western in space kind of thing is what I was thinking,
Yeah. Plus, Timothy Oliphant, I mean, he can make everything a little bit better.
Yeah, he
That
can.
guy, he's a great actor.
He is. He is. When I saw Die Hard, Live Free or Die Hard, I wasn't expecting much, but he made the whole movie, man. He really did. He made that his own kind of villain right there. I thought it was really great.
Yeah.
Him and what's that little girl's name? God, I'm having a senior moment. The chick that was his sidekick. He ended up dumping down a elevator shaft in a truck.
So I haven't seen it, but it does say I know one of the actresses that's in it is Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
No, that's not her.
I remember she was in I think one of the DC.
I'll have to pull it up real quick
movies,
on
but
IMDb. Let me see. Live Free or Die Hard. She's gorgeous. She was on the television version of Nikita.
Okay.
Yeah, she's. I don't know if you know that story or not, but that's one of my favorite movies. Is Nikita. Let's see. Live Free or Die Hard. Here we go. Maggie Q is the girl's name. She is absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, big fan. Big fan of this lady. Hang on one second. I'll show you guys who I'm talking about. Let's see. I'm not worried about sound. Yeah, this is Maggie right here. She was in a show called Nikita that was really good. That's her. Let's see. She's born in Honolulu, Hawaii. Okay. Father's Polish and Irish. Wow. And a Vietnamese mother. My gosh. You want to talk about multicultural? Good Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's gorgeous. I've dug everything I've ever seen her in, and Nikita was a. Let me get this back to here.
Every time you say Nikita, I think of the old USA show La Film Nikita.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
That may be it. That
or like
could
a
have been the name
continuation of it, or yeah.
But the my first exposure to the story was a movie with Bridget Fonda in it called Point of No Return, which I love. I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah, her career really. I mean, I guess she didn't totally disappear, but Bridget Fonda had a period of time where she was in demand, and then it just kind of.
Yeah, it was very short, very short. Yep. But if you've never seen Point of No Return, watch that one. What was that guy's name that was in it with her? Gabriel Byrne. It was one of the. I mean, that guy, when he makes a movie, he makes a good one. He is in some really good stuff. But it's just the story of a kid they pull off the street to make her a spy. The original story is a Russian story, though. Okay. And this person was going to get themselves killed, through drugs or something eventually anyway, and they just yanked her off the street. And it's kind of a Red Room thing like Black Widow. They made her an assassin kind of thing. Right. Yeah, and she tries to have a real relationship while she's doing this kind of work, and it's just it's what it would look like if it was real kind of thing. And yeah, it's a really good show. You should watch that sometime if you've never seen it. Let's see. Christian. Yeah, okay. I've already talked about that one. Okay, so the next subject we got tonight, let me pull up the graphic for it. I don't know if you guys saw it or not, and I'll show it on here if you guys want me to I mean, we can stop it about every 10 seconds or so and try not to get hit, or I can just cut it out later. It's no big deal. But this dropped earlier this week, something that makes me both cringe and makes me want to just jump out of my chair when I first saw it, because I know how good the first part of this story is going to be. The Last of Us, the teaser dropped on for the HBO Max show that's got what is that guy's name?
Pedro
The
Pascal.
Yeah, that's it. Pedro Pascal. He plays the Mandalorian on the Disney Channel Mandalorian show. You just don't see it until what, the second episode, I think, or no, the season ender where Luke
It's
comes in and gets Baby Yoda, right? That's
well,
when he
yeah.
takes his helmet off. Yeah.
I think it. Yeah, I want to say it's briefly off at the end of season 1,
Okay.
and yeah, there's not many times overall in the first
Yeah,
two
there's not
seasons
many
though where
times
it's
because
off.
he's a
Yeah,
Mandalorian. He's not supposed to take his helmet off. I heard they went round and round about that, as a matter of fact, because he wanted to show his face on camera. And I'm like, come on, man. You're the Mandalorian. You can't do that.
well, in his
But
defense, he is an actor, so
he is an actor. So, I mean, yeah, they want to get their face on screen. And this is one movie that I want to see. What is it? Something about talent. The one where Nicolas Cage plays himself, and Pedro's a drug dealer that hires him to come hang out with him, or
yeah, I
something
did
like
see
that.
a commercial for that. Yeah.
That looks funny. I still haven't seen it yet, but I got to see that because I like both of them. But I like Pedro. I think he's a good actor. I think he should have never made Wonder Woman 1984. First of all,
Fortunately,
it,
haven't seen that one yet. So
don't. It's horrible. I mean it's one of those superhero movies that's just as stupid as Superman 3 with Richard Pryor. That one. I mean, the villain's that silly. Okay, it's just that dumb. Uh, it's a shame too because uh, Pedro Pascal, in my opinion, is a good actor, and I'm looking forward to. A lot of people went Pedro Pascal playing Joel. I'm like, yes, this guy can act. He's going to do a great job at it,
the
And
only
I
thing is,
hear this girl was on Game of Thrones. Now that's one show I've never watched. Because I like my fantasy more Tolkien-esque, a little bit more noble, a little bit less tits and ass and blood, kind of
right,
thing. It's just a personal preference. Don't get me wrong; I'm not a
a little less
prude
Game of
or anything.
Thrones. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. The Game of Thrones thing, I'm just not into. I like the Tolkien kind of thing, but I heard that this girl was on Game of Thrones. Is that correct?
I'm not certain. I
Okay, let's take a look.
But now Pascal, I like some of the characters he's played. I know he was in, I want to say, like the second Kingsman movie. I saw that.
Was he in the second Kingsman movie? Who'd he play in that? Yeah, that's right. He's the American agent, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, the statesman, right?
Yeah, that
That's what they
sounds right.
call
I know they all
themselves.
had nicknames. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they run a whiskey place, is what it is.
Right, in Kentucky.
Yeah,
Yep.
Statesman whiskey. Yeah. Oh my God, that's right. That is him with the whip.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh my
So he was
God.
good. And by the
Yes.
way, his character met a rough ending in that
Yes, it did. Yeah.
movie.
Everybody in the
Um,
Kingsman series meets a rough ending for sure.
yeah.
No doubt.
But now,
Let's see.
the only thing I'll say about Pedro is, on a personal level, I can't give him a pass on some of the knucklehead things that he says.
No.
But
But look, man,
yeah,
if I was going to quit watching what some of these artists do or listening to music because of what
yeah,
people say, yeah, I
it
may
would.
not buy their stuff, but I may not support them financially, but got to admit they're talented.
Oh yeah.
Even though they're total idiots in public, you know what I mean? It's yeah. Let's see. Last of Us. Got nothing but video game stuff here. Here we go. Last of Us TV series. Here we go. Let's take a look at this young lady right here that's in this show. If we can find the cast, here they are. Hang on one second. Let me pop this. Oh, let me pop this up there. Okay. The young lady that is playing Ellie, her name is Bella Ramsey. And let's see. Let me go
I think
back. I hit the
went into
wrong link.
character. Yep.
Yeah, I went to the character. Let's go to the actress and see what she has done. Known for Game of Thrones. She's Linnea Marmont, whoever that is. She was on for 3 seasons. Looks like 16 through the end of it. So, yeah, this is what she looks like. Now, I remember when Last of Us came out, there was a rumor that Ellen Page was going to sue Naughty Dog because the likeness of Ellie looks so much like her. But I'm glad they've got a girl playing this part. Don't get me wrong, I don't want Elliot Page playing that part, but um,
Yeah.
like I said to begin with, I am hyped for this, but at the same time, I know what's coming if they stick to the story, and knowing that his name is on the credits in the trailer. Oh my god, man, yeah. Uh, well, let me just show you the trailer. I'm just going to go ahead and show the trailer, and I can cut it out later. We'll just let it rip, and if they hit me, they hit me. I don't care, whatever. But let's take a look at this. If you guys haven't seen it, this is the trailer for The Last of Us. Hang on. I'm going to have to reshare it because I didn't have the audio turned on. So hang on one second. Stop screen. Okay. Got to click that box at the bottom or you're not going to get any sound.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Here we go. And we will just go ahead and blow this up big time and we'll let you guys see it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've watched that about friggin' 10 times since it came out because there's parts of it that just look, if you've never played the game, and it's not everybody's cup of tea. I'm one of these guys that I don't play first person shooters. I want to be able to see my character and see around the person.
Right.
It's just a personal preference. I've never been into Halo or any of these, games. If I was going to play something that the kids play today, it would be Fortnite. Okay, that
Gotcha.
I can see my character. And you can do that in that game. The story is what makes that first one so freaking great. Joel is a guy that doesn't want to be involved in anything, and they recruit him to take this girl that is immune to what's happened. And it's not a zombie story. Yes, they're zombies. You heard me call them a clicker.
Right.
What it is, it's a plant-based fungal infection that people get, and it makes them part plant. That thing you saw at the end of it was one of them that had blossomed and taken them over. And it's fast spreading. You saw parts of, like, you saw the jet crashing into the street when it first. That's the first. That's how the game starts. The first night it breaks out quickly, and he's trying to save his daughter. And I'm not going to spoil the show for you, but parts of that gave me goosebumps. The first part of it, he has to take a girl that is immune to this stuff all the way across the country to Seattle, where this group, you saw where they were painting over a symbol that was painted on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
It's for a group called the Fireflies. And they are gathering medical personnel together in Seattle and trying to find a cure for this thing. And this girl is immune. And he's recruited to take her across country. And when the story starts, he really wants nothing to do with it. This kid's a pain in the ass to him,
Right.
and it takes place several years after the outbreak. The main part of the story does. By the end of the story, it's a father and daughter deal. I mean, that's how much he cares about her by the end of it, and it's just so awesome. And anybody, I mean, this is not a spoiler for anybody. We know where it's going. Neil Druckmann's name's on this thing. He's the guy that produced it for Naughty Dog, and I still haven't finished Last of Us 2 because apparently you have to play for 10 hours as Big Mama Pump, the chick that fucking beat the shit out of Joel and killed him in the first 20 minutes of the game. And I still haven't finished. I can't bring myself to do it. I know I have to eventually one day, but now's not the time because I can't get into it, man.
Yeah, I've heard the phrase Abby Smash.
Yeah. A couple other things like that. If you look at the game, this chick, she is clearly a trans person. You can tell she's almost flat chested,
square jawline.
Oh God, just buff,
Right.
I'd be scared to meet her in public. Let me tell you, I wouldn't want to tick her off. But knowing that's the direction this is going to go, I just hope they take like 2 or 3 seasons to tell the first game. You know what I mean? That's what I'm
Right.
hoping for. Once they get to the Seattle part and that's over with, I may just stop watching it because I mean, man, that game ticked off so many people. I don't know if you've watched the actual reactions of some of the people that played that game for the first time and when it happened. But man, you want to watch a funny one? Watch what's his name? The guy that's got millions of people following him on YouTube. Oh God, he's over in the Netherlands or something.
PewDiePie.
PewDiePie. When he did it the first time, I cracked up because he'd never,
Yeah.
played it.
He's like one of the, I guess, top 3, top 5 in terms of total subs on YouTube.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's huge, man. But and I watch his stuff. I think he's funny as hell. But I watched him play that through when it first came out. That's what ended up getting me into YouTube was that game because I'm a gamer myself. I'm sitting right next to a PS2, 3, and 5. My 4's in the living room, so when I'm in there with Rhonda, I can play on a smaller TV and just remotely play my PS5. That's one of the great features about this system. You can do that with the old PS4. And love the game. The Last of Us, the first one is just one of the. It's in my top 5. It is.
Let me ask you this: Is the goal to get her to Seattle for them to try to make some sort of vaccine or serum from
To
her
get
blood?
a cure, to come up with a cure. Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
I don't want to spoil the story for you, but yes, that's the whole point of getting her there so that the scientists can try and create a cure. And it's a great story, man. I would recommend, even if you're not a video game player, look it up on YouTube and watch the cutscenes. It is a fantastic story. It really is.
Unfortunately, one of the only cutscenes I've seen is from the second one. There's the infamous scene where Abby gets it.
Yeah. Blasts him. Yeah, it's horrible, man. It's horrible. And what's jacked up is the way it happens. Because if you watch the first game, he would have never let his brother give up their names. He'd have been beating his own brother's ass, telling him to shut up. You know what I mean? He would have never let them know what was going on, man.
Is Abby in the first one?
No, she's not. No,
gotcha.
No. She has a relative that's in the first one.
Okay.
We got comments here that I've been missing. Let's see. Das Wolfen is on. Let's see. He says hello. He says, The Last of Us, yes. The ending of Last of Us 2 was not worth the time it takes to play it. I'm sure you've been listening, Das Wolfen. I still haven't finished that game because I don't want to play for 10 hours as Big Mama Pump. Just don't. It's just, ugh. God, I couldn't believe they wanted you to do that.
At least you can't be let down by the show in later seasons.
No, I already know what's coming. So, but hey, maybe they'll do it like The Walking Dead. Maybe they'll change the story. We can always hope for that,
Yeah.
But
that could be one of the things that could hurt Andor is that long term we know what happens.
That's the thing that kind of like I said, that movie is the best that Disney's done. So I was kind of hopeful for the series. But yeah, we know where it's going. Everybody in it dies. So,
what I don't get about Andor is that, and I've heard a lot of people that I respect really rip apart the ending of Rogue One with the Vader scene. I don't know if you're,
I'm very familiar with it. Why would they rip that apart?
I think it's the best thing.
It is awesome
that Disney Star Wars has ever done. That one scene.
I'm telling you.
But
Vader's a total badass at the end of that movie. That's awesome.
I mean, and at the very end of that scene where he walks out into space, and he's basically standing on the edge of the starship, and and he basically kind of does the that and the music plays, his theme plays, like that feels like I'm watching one of the original 3 movies. That part,
right?
And
from what I heard about Obi-Wan, they didn't even use his theme in it when he was on screen.
Not that I can recall.
That's just dumb. Why
Yep.
wouldn't you have the Imperial March playing when Darth Vader shows up, man? I don't understand.
But part of it is there are people, and again, it's a lot of people that I respect that
Mm-hmm.
anything Disney Star Wars, they can't acknowledge that they like it. Well, my mindset is I'm going to give everything the benefit of the doubt,
Mm-hmm.
and even if there's 90% of it that I don't like, if there's that 10% I do, I'll give it kudos.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
I'll be
that's
in
me
it. You know,
too. That's me too. We're of like minds there, Matt. I'm gonna. Well, like I said, if I listened to everybody in our circle, I wouldn't have watched another episode of She-Hulk. You
right?
know, but and my wife and I are watching it together, and she knows how much I love the character, and I'm sitting there just I'm listening to her just complaining shit. This is the thing. Okay, in that show right there, they keep. And by the way, Das Wolfen, I see what you're saying about the Last of Us game. They really work hard to paint Ellie as the villain in that game. She's on a revenge mission. Yeah, well, she's not the villain. They can try all they want to paint her as the villain, but she watched her basically father get blasted with a 9 iron until he was dead right in front of her. Come on. How is she the villain? Now, the villain is the one with no tits banging away with the 9 iron. That's who the villain is. And I just refuse to play as her. I may never finish that game, man. I may not. But getting back to what we're talking about, I'm of a like-minded view. I'm going to give things a chance, you know.
Yep.
I'm always hopeful. I'm a glass half full guy. I'm hopeful that, they're going to have something good. But yeah, what would have been great in She-Hulk, the mistake they're making is they're having her talk to the audience like they're a bunch of idiots telling the story.
Right.
When they should, the beauty of the comic book was what they would do to her in the comic book. Like I said, she was enjoying being She-Hulk, right? She was enjoying being the hot female, with all this power and stuff. And what they would do was Byrne would constantly, almost every other episode, would blow all her clothes off right down to her underwear. There's a famous comic book where she's jumping rope naked, and every time the rope, you see the rope, it's right around her genitals or something, if you know what I'm saying, where you couldn't see anything. And she's sitting there bitching at John Byrne, the creator of the book, the entire time, going, why do you always do this to me? Now, if they'd have had a scene in that show where her clothes got completely blown off and she looks at the camera and starts screaming at Kevin Feige, that would be awesome. That would be fantastic.
Like
You know what I mean?
she says, Kevin, stop, or something.
Right?
Something,
yeah. So, why do you do this to me all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah. That would have been hilarious. But no, they're using that part of it to just talk down to the audience, and I'm like, oh man,
it feels
really?
a little bit like there's some lecturing. There.
Yes, exactly. And I'm like, that's not the spirit of the show. That is just not it.
There's the iconic image of her. I don't know if it's from the 80s or what, but it's basically where she's wearing a bikini and holding up a barbell.
Let me ask you this. You've watched the last episode, I take it. Did they show her at Muscle Beach showing up all the guys?
I've yet to see that.
See, and they keep showing it at the end of the shows. They keep showing it, the artwork, the little cartoons.
I've yet to see that scene.
Let's see. Just another red shirt says, greetings all. Good to see you, brother. Let's see who else we got. Das Wolfen. Hey there. He's saying hi to Das Wolfen. Guys, if you get me a way to get a hold of you, if you send me a message on Twitter, I'll send you an invite if you want in here. We're just talking about the current state of entertainment, really. Just a few topics I came up with. If you want in here, just holler at me. I've got my DMs open over on Twitter. I'll bring it up now on my side screen. You guys just let me know. If you want a link, I'll send it to you.
Red Shirt's great guy.
Yeah, he is. He's awesome. I dig him. Let's see. Das Wolfen says John Byrne's run on She-Hulk was vastly superior to Dan Slott's run. Yeah. John Byrne, he's one of my favorite comic book artists of all time. Let's see. Christian Delome, hello. Yeah, gotcha, man. They're just talking amongst themselves in the chat. But Yeah, I'm like you. I hold out hope. That's why when I saw that Last of Us trailer, it just gave me goosebumps, man. I was like, yes, this is a great story, but then no, Neil Druckmann's name's on this son of a gun. He's gonna kill my boy. Damn it. I mean, it was bittersweet. If you
Gave me
understand what I'm saying.
flashbacks to Vito Corleone there when you said killed my boy.
Yep.
Yep.
No kidding. Mm. But anyway,
Now,
yeah.
this is
What's up?
how you make a Malibu and pineapple.
That's how
What's
you
in the
make a
bean?
Malibu and pineapple in one of those things? Oh, you better make a koozie for it. You got one?
Not big enough for this.
Not big
device.
enough for that one? Okay. But anyway, Foxy always has to step in and keep it real with me. Yeah, she's been playing at the bar. We bought ourselves a bar. I bartended for 18 years. And that's why I love watching Foul Ball Productions. I know Matt's a bartender, so uh, but I bought a bar for the house, and we're enjoying it. It's pretty cool. We're slowly stocking it up with some stuff that we can entertain with. Always playing with my old mixology stuff. I'm sipping on Long Island iced tea right now, as a matter of fact. So
I know at one point Louisiana had drive-through liquor places.
they still do that. They have
Awesome.
daiquiri expresses all over the place, bro. You can go drive through and get a daiquiri anytime you want, brother. No doubt. Well, we were the last state to raise the minimum drinking age to 21. You know that, right? And they threatened to
Yeah.
take our highway money away to do it. Yeah.
Right.
That's how they got us to do it. I mean, because we weren't going to do it. This is dude, we find reasons to have a party around here, man. It's the home of Mardi Gras. That's what we do.
Well, and I live in the coastal Alabama area, so
Okay. Yeah.
New Orleans is the closest largest market, the closest large
So
market,
you
I
see all the
guess.
Saints games. Yeah. No
Yeah, so
wonder you're
they
always
come into
hollering
our
who dat. Yep.
yeah, and I am a Saints fan as far as that goes, but I'm not like a hardcore NFL fan. Like if the
Right.
Saints lose, it doesn't ruin my day.
Yeah.
But but yeah, well, not to go too far off on that, but uh, I don't know that Jameis is the man for them, but um, that's
We'll see. We'll see.
yeah,
I think he's missing the influence of Peyton, because when he was getting coached up by Peyton, he was playing well. But yeah, we don't need to dive off on that. We'll talk about that Sunday. But I will say this once again: if we listened to everybody in our circle, we wouldn't be watching football. You know what I
that's true.
mean? A
That's true.
lot of them have checked out of it because of the whole kneeling thing and
Yeah.
all that stuff. And anytime they tell me about that, I look at them and I go, look, a bunch of spoiled millionaires. And by the way, we're talking like 5% of the spoiled millionaires are not going to tell me what I can watch. I have loved this
True.
game
Yeah.
since I was a kid. I will continue to love this game for the other 90% of the guys that play it for the love of the game. Okay. I will
Yeah.
continue to support them. I'm not going
Don't
to
let
sit.
them ruin it for you. Yeah.
That's it. Exactly. Exactly. What do we
Well,
got over
it's like
here?
Springsteen.
Mm-hmm.
I love his music.
Uh-huh.
Don't like everything the guy says.
No,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, like
You,
we already talked about. If I didn't listen to gay musicians, I wouldn't listen to any music. You know what I
yeah.
mean? It's
I mean,
that kind
Elton
of thing.
John's early stuff was incredible. Queen.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything by Queen is great. Billy Squire is probably one of my favorite guys like that ever.
Yep.
And dude, if you listen to his stuff and you've never seen him live, I mean, nowadays he's doing old man rock shows, but back in the day, the albums only gave you half of what you got in the show. I mean, it was just amazing. Das Wolfen says if TLOU, The Last of Us, turns out well, I am hopeful we get a well done Mass Effect series. I have heard a lot about Mass Effect. I've never played it. I heard it's fantastic, though. And I've actually thought about I go to a place called Game Exchange here in my town, and I'll buy old video games. The last two I bought, which I'm going to take back, are Final Fantasy 15 and what was the other one I got? Hang on a second. Let's see. Destiny. Destiny was the other one. And Destiny, I like that type of game, but it's a first person shooter. As soon as I saw that, I was like, nope, got to take this back. So let's see what else we have here. Christian says, wait, Oh, Louisiana. Yeah, he's misspelling Louisiana. He's got to be. And Louisiana has great French influence and more open, like Quebec in Canada. Okay, gotcha, Christian. Yeah. Um, Louisiana does have a lot of French influence. Part of the city of New Orleans is called the French Quarter. That's where you see a lot of the Mardi Gras stuff going on. Anytime they have Super Bowl down there, you'll always see them highlighting the French Quarter.
Yep.
I personally, now, if you're going to come to Louisiana and get the New Orleans feel, that is a great place to go, but you don't want to go there during Mardi Gras. It is a body wash. It's not a safe place to be. What I would
Yep.
suggest is you go down there for the jazz festival. Now that used to be, I haven't been in many years, but that used to be one of the greatest shows you'd ever see. I went to I think it was the 20th anniversary of it with my father, the spring before I went to the Army. And yeah, Fats Domino was the headliner, man. And he was
Wow.
still bouncing that friggin' piano across the stage. It was ridiculous, man. It was pretty cool. But that's what I would suggest you go down there for. But yeah, I love New Orleans. I get down there at least once every 2 years. I have to have beignets at what is the name of that joint? It's a famous one, man. I got a Cafe Du Monde. Got
Yeah.
to go there every time. Got to go. Let's see. I have learned at a very early age to separate the artist from the art. Yes, you have to, man. I mean,
Yeah. It can
look,
be hard, but it's doable.
if they want to talk about a diversity, some of the most diverse people you're going to see are people in music and art, and just enjoy what they're putting out. Don't listen to them when they got a microphone in front of their face. Really, you're better off. Let's see. Final Fantasy 15, the boy band Final Fantasy. Well, they made me read too much at the beginning of it. You make me read. Tell me a story. Don't make it. Give me a
Right.
tutorial where I have to hit buttons. Don't make me read. If you
Isn't there
make me
one where
read,
they play volleyball?
I
Isn't
don't
that
know. I don't know. I
because
didn't get past the
I
tutorial in it,
I
man.
just I don't know if it's I think it's an earlier one, but I just remember there being some it was beach volleyball and it was girls. And I just remember it being a fun,
Right.
commercial to watch,
Mm-hmm.
which I think
Let's
was the
see. He
goal.
says, I went to Mardi Gras for my senior year in high school. Yeah. Well, I hope you protected yourself, brother. Let's see. And no, New Orleans is not misspelled, or Louisiana isn't misspelled, just autocorrected in French on my phone. Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Okay. So we've been through Last of Us. We've been through Andor. The last thing I wanted to hit tonight is, let me see. I had brought this up earlier. Let me see if I
So
can.
Ripaverse.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Here it is, right here. I've got some stuff I wanted to share on it, but yeah, boys and girls, everybody started getting their books today, and this is mine right here. That's right, the Ripaverse, baby. It's here.
Awesome.
It's here. I actually ordered the A cover the first day, that first morning, and I'm lucky I got it.
I'm
You know
glad
what I
you jumped
mean?
on it because depending on the cover, they were hard to
Yeah,
come by.
cover A went quick. There
Yeah.
was only so many of them, and I didn't buy a signed one because I know they do meetups here. 2.5 hours down the road in Dallas, they
Okay.
do meetups there because a lot of them live in Texas,
Mhm.
and I went to their one last year, and I met Ripa. I mean, but God, there was so many people. They did it at a place called Gators, and I think the max capacity of that place was about, if it was 200 people, I'd be shocked, and they
Oh, well,
way
yeah.
maxed it out.
That's where they had the
And
meetup back was around like May or June
yeah, it was April.
or
It
April.
was near the
Okay.
end of April,
Yep.
and oh my gosh, we had a ball, man. My wife got me a hotel room right around the corner from the place, so I didn't have to drive. I got poo pooed that night. It was pretty funny. But anyway,
Yeah, it was packed
met,
out. I remember watching live streams of that. Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah. I ended up on drunk 3PO stream. He said, "There's an old drunk man yelling at me over here." And I come walking up to him and was talking all kinds of shit. But anyway, yeah, got to meet all those guys from Friday Night Tights and a couple more. Got to meet Brahma Bull. look, that day I showed up there to eat about 4 o'clock, and there was like 3 other people there. Right, there was a couple eating, and Brahma Bull was sitting to my right, and I didn't even know who he was. I thought I recognized him, but I didn't want to say anything and embarrass myself. Right,
Right.
but he was sitting at the table. We were on either side of a support in the building.
Yeah.
And then Culture Casino comes walking in, and I recognized him right away. And I said, okay, this guy's with him, and I got to talking to him, shaking hands. Anyway, I ended up hanging out at their table. We were guarding the table all night. One, because we didn't want to lose our spot in the room. And two, because Culture had brought a bunch of streaming equipment that was really expensive. And I didn't want anybody to, I didn't think anybody would mess with it, but you never know in a crowd like that. So I kept an eye on it for him. And, we had a ball that night, man. It was great to meet all those guys. And I got to meet Ripa, and I showed him the artwork that you see behind me right here that I was doing at the time on my comic book. I'm still chronicling that every Saturday afternoon. I'm taking my time with it. I'm enjoying myself. I am going to pick up the pace on it here pretty soon. I'm aiming for spring to release the first one. But unlike Ripa, I'm not going to do the let me see. Let me get back to this before we
now the eye patch that's not an homage to Dan Crenshaw, is it? I just want to make sure that's
what is it now
on the privateer, the eye patch. That's not a
no sir.
Tribute to
that
Dan
is not
Crenshaw,
Eye Patch McCain. No,
okay.
Not at all, not at all. As a matter of fact, if you look at that picture really close, and you can go look at it anytime you want on one of my other streams. If you look at it real close, it's got a red dot in the middle of it. Everything he has is old school looking. Like you see, he's got a flintlock in his hand, right? But that flintlock, it's got a targeting system on it and shit. It looks old school, but it's high tech. He sees better out of that eye patch than he does with his own eye, and you'll see that in the comic book. I mean, he's the tech guy.
So almost makes me think of like Fallout. In terms of like, it's old and new at the same time, kind of vibe. Yeah.
Let me catch up on these comments real quick. Dallas Wolfman says that was 34 years ago. It was a different world then. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. You could go down to Mardi Gras back then. Yes, you could. He said, nice. And let's see. Red Shirt says, just Atmosfere, I hope to meet you at the next Texas meetup. Yeah, man, I will be at any meetup they do in Texas, whether they do it in Austin. I hope they keep doing it in Dallas because it's only 2.5 hours away from me. I mean, I'm just the other side of the Louisiana-Texas border on I-20 from Dallas. So actually, we get more Dallas games than we do Saints games where I live at. So, we're more in their market. And yes, I will be there, my brother. I will always go to the Dallas ones whenever they have them. But getting back to this, my book, I'm going to do the 20-page rag, man, because the joy I got when I read comic books when I was a kid was Spider-Man running out of his webbing and falling from a plane. What the hell is going to happen to him? The cliffhanger ending. Yep. And you just can't, I mean, I'm looking forward to reading Eric's book, and I'm sure it's going to be awesome. But you're going to, I think it's 96 pages. You're not going to have the cliffhanger ending. You might have one at the end of this one, but what I'm saying is that's what I enjoyed about it. It didn't take long to read, and shit, what's going to happen to him next? I want people to experience that. So I decided I'm going to do the 20-page rag. I can always put them into that format later. You know what I mean?
Right. Like
a graphic novel later. Put 4 issues. Like his origin story is going to be 4 issues. Okay. It's going to take 4 issues to get through his whole origin story to where you find out how he got here, because he is a pirate from the American Revolution. That's why he's got the 13 stars on his back. And he fought for the American Revolution on the high seas, looking for his dad. And you'll learn all that stuff. It's cool. A fun story. I've had several people read. This started off, I mean, I've been writing about this guy for 20 years. It started off as like a movie treatment just about a guy during the American Revolution. And then I got a game called DC Universe Online, which is a lot like Final Fantasy. It's an RPG, but you can create your own character in it. And I said, well, let me evolve this character to where he gets brought into the future somehow from the 1770s, right? And how would he react to the world, and stuff like that. And I made him rich like Batman and have all the toys because, of course, he had all this booty from when he was a pirate. And in our day and age, it's worth millions, right? So he's rich, so he buys all the toys and stuff like that.
Hey, I'll be right back.
Yep, you got it. Let's see. Das Wolfen says Dallas is only a 10-hour drive for me, so I consider it drive it in driving distance. Okay, yeah, that's about as far as I would go. We used to make a 10-hour jaunt to Atlanta, Das Wolfen. Almost, I want to say we did that about every 2 years or so. The Royal Fox's dad lived there, and we used to go see him all the time. He's passed away now, but we used to make that drive. That's about the range I would drive right there. That's as far as I'd go, man. I wouldn't want to drive. I'll fly. I'm too old for that driving past that. If I can't get there in a day, there's something wrong. And then he says it sounds cool. Yeah, I appreciate you, man. You can go to my. By the way, guys, if you want to read any of this stuff, you can throw down $1 on my Subscribe Star and read his origin story right now over on my Subscribe Star. I decided to take because it used to be up on my Facebook page, but I decided to adopt the mantra of the Joker. If you're good at something, never do it for free. So I put it behind a paywall on Subscribe Star. So let's see. Christian says, for me, Dallas is 28 hours away, but I hate flying. I hear you, man. I hear you. You know who else is like that? Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. He drives everywhere. Yeah. He can't stand flying. So that's hey, that's fine, But yeah, getting into the ISOM #1, guys, I got to show you some of these tweets, man. They are cracking me up. They've been cracking me up all day. Let's see.
And as far as the meetups go, I do plan on being in Orlando. I'm only about 7 hours, I think, from Orlando. So I plan on being there.
You going to the Orlando one?
Yeah, in Orlando about a month.
Yeah,
I'm glad it's a month from now and not this week.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Look what came in today. For my birthday. Wow, that guy got it on his birthday. But cool. Some of these, man, I'm trying to find one. Let's see. ISOM #1 came in today. The book is fantastic condition, and the art is great. But a lot of these have been really funny. Let's see. A special. Let's see. Dark Aether Files podcast says special thank you and congratulations to Eric July. Seeing you prosper, giving me good advice, lit the flame inside me. Your advice at Fan Expo Dallas, and now ISOM #1 is an inspiration I need to push forward with my own universe. Hashtag we will win. I put hashtag we will win on mine too. He keeps saying that. It's awesome. He apparently got the C cover. I think that's the C cover. I can't remember. That may be the B cover, but yeah, that was taken at the Dallas meetup right there. I know it was because he didn't move from that spot when he first got there. It was crazy. Yeah, that's some cool stuff. Okay,
well,
let's see.
And I believe in the whole rising tide lifts all boats.
Yes, absolutely.
In terms of if he's successful, then that can bring more eyes to other people that are, in the same realm.
Well, here's the thing, man. Here is the thing about it. There are a lot of independent creators out there. Hell, I'm sure you've seen Ethan Van Shriver's stuff, the Cyberfrog stuff. He's made, now granted, Ripa made a bunch on his first campaign, but Ethan's made just that same amount of money over his several campaigns with Cyberfrog. There's a lot of good. I follow him. I follow Mandy Summers, and they're all tapped into a bunch of artists that have their own campaigns. Of course, if you watch Flashcast, you're going to see a lot of these guys that are creating comic books. That Umbrella guy that covered the Johnny Depp stuff,
yep,
he's doing a comic book. I mean, there's a lot of great creators out there, man. But Eric has really, with his platform, you know, the For Canon's Sake podcast had a lot of fans, a lot of people that were really irate with the way the comic books were going, and he really tapped into that vein. And I don't know if
Well,
you've ever seen him talk about when he came to that meetup in Dallas. He was blown away at the reaction he got from everybody when he showed up there. I mean, he didn't leave that banister. He didn't even make it in the room. He was stuck right there with everybody lining up to talk to him. It was crazy. But he's really shined a light on independent comics. And when it first happened, when he first made his first million, you know, almost the first 24 hours, you know, I put it out on social media. I said, are you listening, Marvel and DC? There's people out there that want to buy comic books, and you have totally pissed them off, and they're going other places. And that's I basically I said, are you listening, Marvel and
right.
DC?
And what he's done is, well, I guess literally and figuratively, it's the fulfillment, I think, of what this whole fandom that we've been a part of
Mhm.
uh, has been waiting for. So I mean, today was a big day. Today is where it became real.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, and that's what some of these tweets reflected. I'm trying to find a couple of the funnier ones. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's one of them right here. Hang on, let me blow this up and put it up on the screen. I saw a lot of these earlier today. When I got mine, I hit Twitter just to see what was going out there, and this one here is what a lot of them were saying. Wait, I thought this was just a CGI or CG cash grab with no intentions of coming out. What what is this in my mailbox today? Is that it's that is that the book? That doesn't exist? Time to jump into the Ripperverse. Yeah, a lot of them were saying, yeah, for this fake, product that was never going to come out, here it is, and they were all tweeting about it. It's pretty awesome to see. It's what inspired me to go ahead and get started on mine. You know, that and of course the state of the world today, me losing my job at the factory. Lost that what a year ago, January 1st, 2021. Walked out of there for the last time on New Year's Eve of 2020. That morning. Let's see, what do we got here? Is he still talking meetups, huh? Let's see, meetup literally. Let's see. Well, Das Wolfen says, well, for the next summer's meetup, I should be literally half the size I am now. Hey, man, go get it. If you've ever listened to Young Ripper, he's going to tell you to get in the gym, get in shape, son. No doubt. Be ready for what's coming. Das Wolfen, well, for the next summer's meetup, I will literally be half the size I am now. I am having the bariatric surgery in a couple of months. Bariatric, is that something to do with the?
Yeah, I think that's maybe the lap band.
Okay, all right.
Surgery on the stomach.
Good for you,
I
man.
think
Good for
what
you.
that is.
But don't forget, you need exercise. Go with it too, brother. You gotta. I tell you what. When I got, I know that's a little bit of a tangent, but I always like to point this out to people. About 2 months after I lost my job last year, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. I was up to almost 200 pounds, and I've never been that big in my life. I'm like a quarter inch shy of 6 feet, and I was almost 200 pounds. I'm usually like around 150, 160, and that's where I am now.
Yeah.
But the best thing my family practitioner did for me, he made me 2 appointments. One for a optometrist, which diabetes can really cause blindness if you don't control it. So that's one of the ones he sent me to. The other one was a dietitian, and I learned more from that dietitian. I have become a food Nazi now. I eat every 2.5 hours. I eat a meal and then a snack, a meal and a snack. And like when I go to a restaurant, I'll get my favorite meal: steak, potatoes, and broccoli, right?
Right.
But I cut it all in half and I get a go box. It's not, you got to eat smaller amounts
Yep.
and more frequently.
You're saying spread it out. Yeah.
That's it. That's it. You can't gorge yourself. That's the whole point. And I never understood the importance, Doss Wolfen, listen to this. I never understood the importance of breakfast. You've got to eat when you first get up, because what it does is it tells your metabolism, okay, we're getting fuel today. Let's start using it.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Your metabolism has a memory, man. I used to just suck down coffee for half the day, and then I'd have a big meal and then maybe another one for dinner. But I usually just ate once a day. And if you do that, your body goes, well, and then I'd snack. You know what I mean? Yep. But I'd eat a whole bag of chips sitting there playing video games, right? You eat like that, and you don't eat breakfast, and your body goes, hey, we may not get food again. Let's store this.
Gotta store it, yeah.
Your metabolism has memory. Eat something. I get up religiously, and I don't cook. My wife would tell you that. I do not cook. If I got to do the cooking, we're going to starve. It's just I'm horrible at it.
I also think we're hardwired to want to eat everything in front of us. Like that's like a primal thing.
We were taught that. Clean your plate. There's starving kids in Africa. Clean your plate.
Yeah.
But you don't have to do that. Don't waste your food. I'm just saying, get a go box. Take it home with you. Eat it later on. I was put on metformin in February. I was off of it in June. So
good.
And I lost 50 pounds in 4 months. And that's how you do it, guys. And get on a treadmill. I mean, you don't have to, all I do is walk for half an hour at a high pace. It's all about getting your heart rate up. That's all. Let's see. Oh yeah. I will be heading back to the gym as soon as I can and move more freely. Yeah, well, there you go, brother.
And just make sure with that surgery, listen to your doctor, because that's a serious surgery.
Yep. That's a serious surgery, and you don't want to push it. You want to recover from that and then get to getting some exercise. Christian, good night to you, sir. You take care of yourself. It's good to see you. Thanks for watching. But getting back to Ripa, he has inspired a lot of people. I went to, and you know what's funny? For some people, it's just, taking the first step and getting to doing the work. I mean, I've been writing this for a long time, but I hadn't picked up my pencil, And once I saw this going on with Ripa, I said, man, I got to kick this into our overdrive, And I do it every weekend now, and I want to do more of it. It's just things have been crazy, but I keep making that excuse. I'm going to start, cutting down on my YouTube and doing more artwork. You know what I'm saying? But I ran into an artist at Shop Till You Drop. I went for the first time with my wife. She's been doing these craft shows, and I took my artwork there, and I found out that I have to take at least 200 business cards. I took 50 this time, and I ran out by lunchtime.
Wow.
So, when you're doing art, it's all by commission, and that's how you get it done, right? You hand out your cards. And I got to better prepare next time. But I ran into an artist that has a studio. The name of the studio is Swamp Sloth Productions. And I showed him what I was doing with the Swamp Sloth Studios. That's the name of it. And he did 3D modeling for video games and stuff, and now he does that and then uses Photoshop to make art out of it, and it's really cool. He and I swapped artwork, but he was blown away by the fact that somebody was actually stepping forward and doing this stuff. I was like, man, there's a lot of us doing it. You really need to get into the YouTube thing and see what's going on over here, and he was totally had no clue people were doing the kind of stuff we're doing. So, it's exciting, man. I can't wait to read it. As soon as we get done with this show tonight, I'm going to go read this thing and I'm going to probably do a review video on it as soon as I can, really looking forward to it. And to all you naysayers out there that thought he was just trying to scam people, I got news for you. He wasn't. It's good stuff from what I've seen. And my wife was blown away with the packaging, man. I mean, it has this logo on it, and you open it up, and it was in kind of a cardboard barrier. It's bagged and boarded, and it was in kind of a cardboard barrier where it wouldn't shuffle around the box. It wasn't going to move in there. It's pretty cool stuff. Yeah.
Well, I just like the fact that he, it sounds like he's got his own, to the extent that you can, he's in control of as many elements as he can be.
Yeah.
And that's important. The more in that kind of situation, the more control you have, um, the less chance you have of some mega corporation trying to, shut you down or
Yeah.
cancel you or whatever.
Yeah, and it's amazing some of the backlash he got when he started this campaign. I was shocked at some of the stuff that was coming out that these people were saying that I thought would be happy to see him doing it, you know?
Well, I tell you, these Twitter reply people,
Yeah.
I, I don't. They must not have a much of a fun existence in life, because for every positive comment that gets put out there about any topic,
Mhm.
there's 10 people that just run it into the ground. For
Yeah.
instance, Aaron Judge is trying to get home run 61.
Okay.
So Roger Maris Jr. tweeted out about how he'd still love for his dad, to have the record, but if it happens, it happens, whatever.
Mhm.
Someone replied, "Who cares?" I mean, just
Man.
there's some people that just have to have a problem with everything.
Yeah.
Uh,
And there's some people that have never experienced what that guy's doing. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've tried to hit a baseball before, and that's the hardest thing to do in sports, if you ask me, is hit
I
a
mean,
round baseball with a round bat. That is hard to do. And the fact that this guy's launching him at the rate he is
yeah,
amazing, you know?
yeah. He walked
Uh,
4 times last night. I watched a lot of it, but
oh, really?
it, the point being is that you can't make decisions based on your Twitter replies.
No.
Because there are going to be people out there that criticize everything, and the whole what they particularly don't like about Eric July is you have an independent,
Hmm.
normal black man
Yes.
that is making quality content that people want,
Yes.
and it's content that's not a part of the narrative,
No.
and there are people that literally drives them crazy,
Hmm.
and it's actually kind of fun to watch in a way.
Yeah. it's it's
Because
got, I just saw in my brain the Joker sitting there with the cell phone. Everything burns.
yeah,
you
because
know.
if you look at it, a lot of times in black well, in entertainment in general,
Hmm.
lately the move, I mean, they do try to emasculate men, but they in particularly try to emasculate black men and make them just be silly characters that are
Hmm.
that 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 don't have any solid standing.
Yeah.
And he has made a main character that just from what I have seen
Hmm.
looks like he's you know going
He's a
to
guy
be
that's got a
a
past
yep,
that he's kind of running from, and it slams him in the face, and he has to deal with it. Apparently, this is what it
yep,
looks like, and I can't wait to read it. I really can't. But the thing about it is, and the reason why these people can't understand it is they're always looking to tear something down. To them, it's fun to tear something down, and this is not a case where somebody's going to get torn down. This is a
right,
guy that is putting his money where his mouth is. He's been doing that podcast for a long time. I listened to him for a few years before he even had the idea for doing this.
yep,
And he he got tired of talking it and said, "Well, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is." He bet on himself. And these stories were people these may be my favorite stories is people betting on themselves.
yep,
Uh the one that comes to mind right away before this one was Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks, the guys that started AEW Wrestling with Tony Khan. I don't know if you know the backstory of that, but it's amazing. And it's just guys that got fed up with what was going on, got fed up with people telling them they weren't good enough, and went out and did it themselves with their own money. That promotion, you guys out there, if you don't know how AEW started, it was started by a tweet that what's his name, Metzler, uh,
Dave
uh,
Metzler.
Dave Metzler,
Yep,
was answering a tweet. Somebody had asked him on Twitter, "Do you think that Ring of Honor could fill a 10,000 seat stadium venue?" And he said, "No, I don't think they're that big. I don't think they could do that." And Cody Rhodes, who was working for that promotion at the time, said, "I'll take that bet." And he got with his buddies, the Young Bucks, And he's got a little bit of money. He's done well for himself in the WWE, and his dad was a Hall of Famer, so I'm sure he got some inheritance from him when he passed
And his
away and
brother
everything.
was underrated in terms of
Oh
his
yeah,
ring work.
and
Yep.
and let me tell yeah, but anyway, they got a venue in Chicago, and they do All Out there every year now. Okay, because this was really the birth of it. They got this place in Chicago. They didn't know who was going to be there. They just said it was going to be an independent show, and they got the announcers from ROH to do it for them. But people that were when they put the tickets on the market that February, okay, they bought this place. They bought the venue for that night with their own money. The three of them, the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes. Nobody knew who was going to be on the ticket. All they knew was it was going to be independent wrestling, and Cody Rhodes and Young Bucks were the backers. It sold out in a half an hour, bro.
Wow.
10,000 seats. Sold out in a half an hour. That's how much that people were turned off by what the WWE was doing and wanted to see some really good wrestling, And if you've never seen All In, that independent show, it was 4 hours long. And it was one of the best wrestling shows I've ever seen. Cody Rhodes took on Nick Aldis for the NWA 10 pounds of gold, which is one of the most famous belts ever. And
probably the number one.
Probably the most famous belt.
Or the WWF one with the eagle.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I'd say the 10 pounds of gold, because I know when I was a kid, once again, no internet, I saw a wrestling magazine with bloody pictures of Ric Flair and Harley Race going after it for the 10 pounds of gold, and that suckered me into wrestling.
Well,
right away.
When Flair, this was early '90s when he went to WWF and took that belt with him, and that belt appeared on WWF television, that was like monumental.
Yeah, it was. It was huge. But those kind of stories, that's what we're looking at with our man Ripa. He made his money in the music business. He's been in entertainment for a long time, and he got tired of the state of something he's really passionate about. And he said, "You know what? I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is." And he's winning, and we will win. # we will win. Damn it.
That's right.
He says it all the time on his podcast. We will win. Yep. I love the guy. I think he's great. And I don't think he's a Superman. I don't think he's some untouchable person. He's just a guy that's tired of seeing this stuff out of something he's passionate about and wants to do something about it. And I really commend him for it. And I hope he makes many more millions. But
I commend guys like him and like what you're doing. I commend people that not only have they identified the problem in entertainment, but they are also finding a solution to the problem. And the solution is independent content.
That's it.
Another good one is Vinny Art. I don't know if you've ever seen any of his streams, but
yes, I've seen him a couple of times. Yeah,
and he has other guys on there. That
there's too many guys to name. The Ginger Ninja is another one that's doing that steampunk comic book. Man, it's so good. Oh, check it out. It's Ron. What's up, bro? It's good to see you. We're about to wrap it up, or I'd give you an invite, man. This is the guy that co-hosts Pregame Party with me on Sundays, Ron.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he is great. He watches more football than you can shake a stick at, man. He was watching NFL Europe. Apparently, they started that league back up again. My gosh, he was watching something else not too long ago. He's watching the Canadian League right now and stuff. I mean, he's nuts. He watches it all. He wants to know where all the good players are so he can get them on the Denver Broncos. Damn it, that's his team.
Well, so, I got 2 words for Ron. Okay. Let's ride.
Let's ride, baby. Let's ride. They got that win, but man, damn. Let's see. He says it's all good. I'm in bed, getting ready to for bed. Haha. Yeah, he's got a long commute. He's got to go from rural Virginia to DC every day. So he's got to. Let Russ cook. Ron says, yeah, definitely. They need to quit messing around, man. I'm telling you. But anyway, yeah. Ripa, I hope. I can't wait for the next campaign. I haven't even read this one yet, but I'm going to as soon as we're done here. So, but anyway, that is the state of the universe, or excuse me, the state of the atmosphere tonight, guys. We got talking wrestling, and I'm thinking like it's WWE. But is there anything you want to let the folks know before we get out of here there, Matt?
No, not really. I just appreciate you having me on again. I just enjoy being a part of different conversations, and with the topics you were talking about,
Yep.
very very interesting, and just also wanted to get a chance to meet you. So I got to do that on the stream tonight. So
For
that was
sure,
cool.
man. For sure. You're welcome here anytime, man. I'll send out the link every week. You can always come by and say, "Hey, man." Uh, you, now I found you on whatever cast. Where else can they find you?
I am on Twitter, small underscore time, and then the number 3 is my handle. I've got a YouTube channel technically, but no content on there. So, don't really, need to promote that at this
Okay.
time or anything. But
Yeah.
yeah, just enjoy, mainly hanging out in the streams
Do you
and
know when the next whatever cast is?
he normally has them, Wednesday nights at around 10 Central.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Well, I'll be looking for it then. Well, listen, guys. Just to let you know what the lineup is here. Let's go ahead and get you clued in. We got, of course, tomorrow night. We got the Brothers Hack the Matrix. Me and Highlander going to get together and do the rundown like we usually do of all the current events, and then we start talking about the stuff we love, man. Sports, comic books, movies. We touch everything, man. It's just a talk show born of two brothers having conversations when one of them has a long commute in a major city in the U.S. And we decided to make it a talk show. So you can see that every Thursday, 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. And then, of course, on Saturdays, you can see me creating the Privateer, sketching the Privateer with my good buddy Justifier Jim. He used to play video games with me and Knock there. And I brought him on as a host because sometimes I get into the drawing so much that I forget to talk, and he fills people in on what's going on. So you can watch us every Saturday afternoon at 1:30. That's Central Time on YouTube. And then, of course, me and Knock will be breaking down the week that was in the NFL and the week that is going to be every Sunday at 10 a.m. Central, 11 o'clock Eastern, 2 hours before kickoff. If you're tired of watching the Communist News Network, I'm sorry, ESPN, you can come watch a couple of football fans talk about the games. And then, of course, I still do my Twitch thing late at night on Sundays, 11 o'clock on Twitch. I play 3 hours of video games. I change games every hour and just have a few cocktails and some fails at some video games. And I'll let everybody decide what we're going to play. But I do my walkthrough. Right now I'm doing a walkthrough of Fable 3 on the Xbox 360. That one's a lot of fun. And I put the replays up on YouTube a few days later. And, of course, you can always come back and see us once again next week here for State of the Atmosphere live. And there's no telling who'll show up. This time it was Matt from Small Time Republic. And sometimes you never know who's going to show up. So for Matt and myself, I want to tell you thanks for watching. And until we see you again, I want you guys to keep on keeping on. God bless now.